Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Emma and I am a romance writer based in the UK. Somehow we are half of the way through the year already. I'm not quite sure how it's happened, but it has. And I've been taking a little bit of time to think about what I've achieved in the first half of the year and also what I'm hoping to do in the second half, especially as that's going to be looking potentially a little different to how I've done things for the past few years, because there's been a fairly major change, which I will talk about in a little while. So yeah, looking at the first half of the year, we have had a huge amount going on as a family. And I'm actually quite impressed that I have managed to write so much. I think what I've noticed is that when things are a little bit tougher or a little bit busier than usual, some writers tend to step back from their writing. I know, just because their mind is so busy dealing with what's going on that they're not also able to focus on writing. What I tend to do, though, is I find solace in my writing, and I will kind of lock myself away, if you like, in my writing, which kind of productivity wise and getting books out there can only be a good thing, I guess. And yeah, I think that's what happened. So looking back to last November for NaNoWriMo, I wrote the first draft of a new romance set in a seaside town. And what I was thinking is that this is going to be the first in my first ever series of books. That's something that I've really been wanting to do for quite a while, and yeah, it seems to have all come together. Anyway, so then I normally take most of December off. So starting with the new year in January, I got right back to that manuscript, and I did a second draft of it for January. So when I do a first draft for NaNoWriMo, or just without doing any kind of writing challenge, it's a very good first draft in that it's absolutely complete. The whole story's there, all the characters, all the themes, all of that stuff. What I would say is it's maybe closer to what a lot of writers would consider their second draft to be. So the second draft that I do has a lot less work involved, because there aren't normally any kind of big changes. It really is tidying things up and adding in a little bit more description here and there, and maybe just making sure that things are carried through properly. So yeah, I did that during January, I believe, and then I got that off to my beta readers. While my beta readers were dealing with that, I went back to my first Regency romance, which I have been writing. It feels like I have been writing it for years and years and years, and it's been a really, really hard process. I've never written any form of historical fiction before, and I didn't go into it as well prepared as I feel I should have, and that caused a lot of problems. I'm not quite sure how that happened, to be honest. You'd think, I've written a fair few books, you'd think that I would know how to go about doing so, even if it was a different genre. But yeah, I made life a lot harder for myself. But anyway, it got done. The first draft got done of that, so that was fantastic. And then when my seaside book came back from my beta readers, I then worked through all of their feedback. So I have 5 beta readers who were working on that, and they gave absolutely fantastic feedback, and that was brilliant to work through. Yeah, at that point I then was happy. That book I kind of considered done, and that is out there, kind of hopefully going to get a contract very soon for that and the rest of the series. So once that was properly out of the way, I then went back to the Regency again and finished draft number 2, which was brilliant. What I would say about the Regency is that my first draft, as I was saying earlier, it's normally a very, very good first draft. It wasn't quite as good for the Regency. So there was more work that needed doing for draft 2, but I did it, and that one is now off with beta readers as well. So yeah, that is fantastic. So that's my major kind of writing news, in terms that I've got one book that is completely finished and is off being queried at the moment, and then another book that is very close to that point, although I'm not quite sure where I'm going to be sending that book off to. That's something I need to think about, and I'll maybe do a video about that soon. So yeah, that's fantastic. So the other thing that I needed to work on is with my Seaside book, is having an idea of what was going to happen in the rest of the series. So yeah, that book's been sent off, like I say, and I had a query back asking about the rest of the series. I'm planning for either 4 or 5 books, definitely 4, but there is kind of an option for a 5th that's left open. So I needed to come up with more of an idea. So all I kind of had in my head was who the heroines of each of the stories were going to be, and kind of their predicament. So I really needed to sit down and just come up, not a full synopsis, but a proposal, if you like, for each of the stories in the series. That was really fun to do, and obviously I'm not completely tied to that. If I did decide that I wanted to change things, and there is going to be some kind of to and fro with editors about that, and making sure that the stories are sound before I even start writing those. Yes, that's really, really cool. And then the other thing is today I am starting to write a new book. So last Christmas I had my book A Scottish Christmas out, and people seem to love that, and I loved writing it. Christmas is really, really good fun to write about, so I fancy doing another Christmas book, and my editor was very keen for me to do a Christmas book as well. But this one is going to be set in Italy, which makes it even more fun because I get to do all the research for all the delicious Italian food, and yeah, work trip. Yeah, I'll definitely need to do a research trip later in the year. So that's been really, really good fun. I've been plotting that for the last month, just kind of here and there, a little bit every day, working out the characters, working out especially kind of, I'm wanting to get the setting exactly right in Italy, this really sweet town where there's going to be a restaurant, and yeah, it's going to be good fun to write, and I'm very excited about starting to write that, which I am going to do once I finished filming this. My aim with that is it'll be over 60,000 words, and I was thinking that I would attempt to write 1,000 words a day for the next couple of months, so that I'll write it, yeah, in 2 months, hopefully, the first draft. So we'll see how that goes. That is very loose. It's an idea, but if it doesn't happen, then that is completely fine. One of the things that I have found has been quite difficult is that as well as writing, I also have income from other sources which are all kind of writing related. So I teach a writing class, for example, so I need to prepare for that every week and obviously take the class. That's fine, that's kind of in my schedule. I'm used to that, but I'm also a developmental editor, and the problem that I'm having is that as my business has grown, it's taken over more of my time, and I'm not quite sure when these jobs are going to come in. So I might say, oh yeah, I'm going to write 1,000 words a day for the next 2 months. But if I have a lot of big editing jobs that come in, then that's not going to happen. And so I kind of just have to play it by ear. But that is what I'm planning to do at the moment. Once that one is written, then I will be doing the Regency again, or possibly, if there aren't many changes to make from the beta reader feedback for the Regency, I might be able to do that alongside writing this Italian Christmas book. I'll just have to see about that. Yeah, so that will take us July and August writing that, and then I will probably be working on the second book in my Seaside series, which will be very exciting. The big change that's happening is that NaNoWriMo has ended, which I'm sure everybody knows about. I made a video about it a couple of months ago, and I have done NaNoWriMo for the last few years, and I found it incredibly useful. I know that it doesn't work for everybody, but for me, for some reason, it worked really, really well. But it was also very, very stressful to be writing that much every day. I found it especially stressful when I was vlogging the experience, even if I was just doing a very short daily vlog with my progress, because I tend to write quite late in the day, although I am doing better with that. It just meant that I was having to put a camera in my face at like midnight, which I just didn't want to do, honestly. So that was part of the issue with that, but also it's just a lot, and I've been very lucky that nothing has gone wrong. The times that I've done NaNoWriMo is in, I haven't got sick, or, there hasn't been any kind of emergency that I've had to deal with. But while I like the idea of writing a draft quite quickly, doing it in 30 days, I think for me at the moment, I don't really want to do anyway. So with NaNoWriMo no longer being around anyway, I think what I'm going to do from now on is work on writing a first draft in 2 months, like I'm going to try with the Italian Christmas book. So kind of a month planning, 2 months writing, and then leaving it for a little while before doing the second draft. So yeah, we'll see how that works. So I guess it is still a writing challenge in that I'm attempting to do it in a set amount of time, but it's a much more relaxed one. And like I said, if something goes wrong, if I come down with the flu or something like that, then hopefully there's still time to do it and it's not quite so stressful. The other thing is that being in the UK, at least we don't have Thanksgiving during NaNoWriMo. But what I found was I'd be finishing NaNoWriMo on the 30th. And then the 1st of December, first day of Advent and things, I do lots of cooking and things. I make mince pies and Christmas cake and things like that. And I was still kind of coming down off of all of this crazy writing and things, and I wasn't able to enjoy it as much as I did. And everything felt very rushed in December because there was a lot of stuff that I'd put aside from November. So yeah, hopefully this will stop that from happening and I'm still able to take December very, very easy. Like I'm a huge fan of Christmas and I like to do lots of things involving it, and yeah, not willing to give that up, frankly. So yeah, so that is kind of the rough plan for the rest of the year, taking into account that things happen, big editing jobs come in, and yeah, life and everything like that. So I really hope that the first half of the year went well for you guys. If it didn't, well, we've still got half to kind of catch up a little bit. If you didn't quite reach your goals, or if your goals have changed, I'd really love to know what you've got planned for the next 6 months. If you want to pop it down in the comments below, and make sure that you boop that like button and subscribe if you're not already, because we have a lot of fun on this channel, and I will catch you in the next one.